Good afternoon. Phil Lindeman with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93. A Dillon Valley family narrowly escaped tragedy before sunrise when a faulty furnace sent 3 of them to the hospital with carbon monoxide poisoning. Steve Lipsher of Summit Fire.
At least one child was actually unconscious and was being rushed to the hospital when Dillon police intervened and sounded the alarm.
6 other family members complained of headache and nausea, classic signs of the odorless invisible gas. All 7 will recover. The house did not have a carbon monoxide detector.
These detectors are truly lifesavers. We put them on par with smoke detectors in terms of their importance.
Detectors are $15 a piece or free through the fire department. Give them a call. CDOT cut the ribbon yesterday on a new runaway truck ramp on west side Vail Pass, described as just the beginning of a 5-year, $164 million facelift.
Today's ribbon-cutting event is about more than just the completion of this emergency truck ramp. It's also the start of so many great things that come with our state bipartisan infrastructure bill, coupled with a bipartisan federal infrastructure bill. Improvements for motor carriers, improvements for commuters, improvements for tourists, both from the Front Range and across the country.
That was Governor Jared Polis, with CDOT Director Shoshana Liu explaining what comes next.
Starting in the spring of 2022, the reconstruction of aging bridges, straightening of tight curves, construction of 6 wildlife underpasses to reduce the number of vehicle-wildlife collisions and deliver on our statewide commitment to the protection of wildlife on our roads.
The upgrade also includes shoulder widening on both sides of I-70 and 5 miles of eastbound auxiliary lane from East Vail to the Vail Pass summit. About that truck ramp, it's more than a truck ramp. It features a liner to protect Gore Creek from hazmat spills, and the grade there is mellower than before. CDOT says in the past, truckers were sometimes nervous to use it. DUIs and domestic violence sent another 5 people to Summit County Jail last week. Those are the 2 most common charges in Summit all year long, highlighted by a rash of incidents in Dillon from last month. A man was charged with multiple felonies for allegedly trying to abduct a child at a local store. The child's parent intervened and fled the scene. The suspect was tracked down and arrested, earning a DUI at the same time. A traffic stop led to a medical emergency where police used Narcan, saving a man from overdose. And a domestic call led to, quote, erratic behavior when a suspect holed up inside a vehicle for hours. He eventually surrendered peacefully. 12 people were killed by avalanches last season, tied with 1992-93 as the deadliest in modern Colorado history. Colorado Avalanche Information Center hopes to avoid another deadly season this winter with some good news and a warning. The good news, 2 months of warm temps and light snowfall mean many slopes are down to the dirt. CAIC forecaster Brian Lazar tells the Aspen Times it is a fresh start for the snowpack. The warning, what snow does remain on shaded northern slopes and wind-loaded gullies is rotten to the core. That is where slides are most likely to happen and also where skiers are most likely to go when the snow piles up. Check the forecast as the storms roll in at avalanche.state.co.us. In Austria over the weekend, 3 skiers were killed by a slide in the Salzburg province after more than 1.5 feet of fresh snow. 2 were 19 years old, 1 was 24. Dillon Town Council is getting creative with funding for its delayed town park upgrade and asking the state to pay a quarter of the bill. Town Council hears the latest at today's work session. Staff is applying for a GoCO grant worth nearly $500,000. Project cost is $1.95 million, paying for a multi-use sport field, climbing walls, footpaths, upgraded lighting, and a covered shelter, plus landscaping and new bathrooms. Some other news from Dillon now. The town is grooming ice on Lake Dillon for ice hockey this year. Equipment is ready to go now. All they need is ice at the marina. In the city market complex, Panera Bread is now in the home stretch. They are set to open sometime this season when interior work wraps up. Dillon property owners are getting a temporary tax break next year. Property values grew nearly 10% in Dillon this year, and town charter limits how much they can collect. That means slashing a 0.5 point from the standard mill levy, but it will likely return as early as 2023 when values even out. And in local sports, Race 3 of the Rise and Shine Rando series came to A-Basin today, where David Giardini and Christina Volkin took the overall wins. Billy Wilcox, Nikki LaRochelle, and Emily Olson round out your podiums. Next Rando race is December 21st. Summit High boys and girls basketball are at Middle Park today. Wrestling has a home tri-meet with Steamboat and Eagle Valley. Phil Lindeman with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93.